Hey brother, welcome back. Thanks for being here. I am in Costa Rica, and in this video I want to talk to you about the fear and shame we experience when we don't stand up for ourselves. Now, you may be experiencing this with your wife. She may have frustration and resentment and anger and rage. She may yell at you, she may criticize you, she may come after you in ways that you feel flooded, you feel overwhelmed. In fact, you may shut down, you may get quiet, you may pull away, you may withdraw from the conversation, and I can tell you that that's actually contributing to your lack of self-trust, your lack of self-respect, and it's actually causing disconnection with her because she feels like you've abandoned her. Even though she's the one that's coming at you with anger, it feels like you've abandoned her, that you've left her, that you aren't able to stand there and stay in that conversation with her and to be able to withstand her emotions. And that makes her feel unaccepted. It makes her feel disapproved of. It makes her feel unloved. I know all this is very confusing right now, but these are the things that you need to know. When you have these types of insights, then you can actually start to show up in your relationship that are different. And one of the ways that we do that is we have to start retraining our brain. We have to rewire our brain. There's neuroscience about that's involved, and it's through repetition, simple repetition, that you can be able to do that for yourself. But one of the things that we want to do is we have to become aware of these things that we're experiencing, like fear and shame. We have to know when we get triggered. We have to know when our thoughts flare up, inflame feelings in us that turn into emotions, energy in motion, right? Which turn into behaviors, actions that we take, that we say or do or hide or withdraw or pull away, that produce the results that we're experiencing. And so we have to be able to be aware of these things so that we can identify them, so that we can actually have conscious, intentional thoughts about them, so we can make choices about them, so that we can get a different result. Now, for me, in my childhood, you may be able to relate to this, bullying was a part of childhood. In fact, there was a bus stop bully. I lived on a dirt road in a small town, and on that road, the bus would come down the paved road, the main road, and they would drop all the kids off at the beginning of that dirt road. Now, my house was somewhere maybe on the middle of that road, and then at the end of that dirt road lived the bus stop bully. And he and I would get off the bus at the exact same time, and he was maybe only a grade or two ahead of me. He was larger, he was loud and awkward, and he just felt like he could pick on me. And because I was smaller, I was afraid of him. And I would try to get up ahead of him. I would run up ahead and try to get ahead of him so I could get home, and then he would, just pass my house and go to his home and all that kind of stuff like that. But there were so many moments where we had to stand at the bus stop waiting for the bus. You either had to come right as the bus was arriving, or you were going to be late and wind up missing the bus, or you were there on time and you had to stand there with the bus stop bully. And he was not kind. He was not kind, and that set into me fear. It also set into me a place where I would pull up into my mind. I would go up into my head. I would protect myself by imagining these things where I was bigger than him, and where we got into a fight, and where I punched him in the nose. And I would imagine this world where everything went the way that I wanted it to go, if I could get other people to do what I wanted them to do. Now, if you've read the book No More Mr. Nice Guy, he talks about this in the book, that we have covert contracts, that we actually think that if we can get people to do what we want them to do, then we'll be okay, that we'll get our needs met, that we'll be safe. But that creates dependency. It creates a dependency on something outside of us, someone outside of us, and it makes us powerless. It actually puts us into a victim place, and they're the villain. And that keeps us stuck feeling like we don't have any control, we don't have any choices, and that somebody else is in control of our experience. Somebody else is in control of our life. If you haven't read No More Mr. Nice Guy, I highly recommend that you do. There's a link in the description to that book. Read it, take note of what stands out in it, and let's talk about it. Tell me what stands out to you. Tell me about your bus stop bully experiences, because these things are formative. These things are transformative. These experiences are the part where we start to lay down the rules for ourselves about what we need to do and who we need to be in order to be safe, in order to be accepted, in order to be okay. And then we go into our adult life carrying these operating instructions, these rules, and we try to apply them to other situations and circumstances in our life. We may apply it in our marriage, in our job, in our relationship with friends and with kids and coworkers. We try to match up our coping mechanisms, our rules, with how we think life is supposed to go. And if we do our part, then other people will do their part, and then that will be okay. But it doesn't work that way. And when it doesn't work that way, we become frustrated, we become resentful, we become angry, we're confused as to why we're doing what we're supposed to do and everybody else isn't doing what they're supposed to do. And so the bus stop bully, those bus stop bully moments happen for all of us at some time. And if you've watched this far and you can relate to this, then I want to have a conversation with you. I want you to tell me what it is that's bothering you. I want you to share some of those moments with me. Maybe you've never shared those moments with anybody else. Maybe you've never really fully understood the impact that those moments have had on you. The fear, the shame, the uncertainty, the unsafeness, the rules that you created for yourself in that moment about who you needed to be and how you needed to behave in order to survive, in order to be okay. The ways that you disowned yourself, the ways that you've told yourself that I can't be that person, that I can't act that way, that I can't have what I want, that somebody else is in control, that somebody else has power over me. I want to have a conversation with you where we can get you to go from being the victim in your story, that other person from being the villain in the story, and where you can become the hero in your own story, where you can actually not be dependent, not be victimized, but actually have power, actually be able to take ownership of your life, be able to make choices for yourself, be able to give yourself permission to live your life the way that you want, so that you can be who you want to be, so that you can have the clarity to know who you are and what you want and where you're going and what you want to experience and who you want to spend time with. This is the conversation that I'm inviting you into. I'll listen to you. I'll ask clarification questions. I'll help you hear yourself. I'll share my own personal insights with you. I'll share insights with the men that I've coached with. And I'll point to resources. And you and I will come up with a game plan of how you can experience something different in your life, how you can be free of this fear and shame and dependency and powerlessness, how you can actually take ownership of yourself and come home to yourself, and let the best bus stop bully be a distant memory that no longer hangs over you and controls your life. All right, brother, there's a link in the description. Set up that call, pick a day at a time that works for you. Let's talk. And until then, be kind to yourself, and I'll talk to you soon.